Okay, let's see if we can do this. Hi everyone, my name is Joji. I am a knitter and pattern writer from Buenos Aires in Argentina, and I am trying to record this journal today with very little time between doing a lot of tasks for works and going to the salon to probably chop my hair. I don't know how much I'm going to cut off. I just know that this is not working out. It's a little bit damaged, too much information, but who cares? So I have whatever time I have, and I decided to come here and tell you about the things that I've been knitting and I've been working on for the past few days. Today is Wednesday, February 21. I am recording back in the city. I am still living at the summer house, but we came today because of all these different appointments, and I brought my knitting with the hopes to record this, and I'm so glad I'm doing it. Do I have any new patterns that came out? I think not. I think last time I recorded I was in New York City and my last pattern was Milton. It is still my last pattern, but I have to tell you that I've been working on translating some of my patterns to Spanish. I don't suppose that people who watch this in English are specifically interested in the Spanish translations, but sometimes you are. Sometimes you want to see how things look in my native language, and so I'm taking time to do that. That is something that I've been wanting to do for several years now, and I never found a pace or a way to do it that I was comfortable with. It's not as easy as making up my own lingo and then, you know, just translating. There has to be a certain flow, and it took me a very long time because I tend to introduce a lot of typos, and then I've also worked with very talented translators, but the interaction back and forth, it also took a lot of time. So I did a couple of times and I didn't translate many more patterns, but now I've been more focused and I'm trying not to introduce as many errors, and it's one of my goals for this year, maybe translating one pattern a week. So if that works, by the end we'll have a very big portfolio of patterns in Spanish to offer to my fellow Spanish speakers. I have one finished object to share with you. This project, I'm super happy with the outcome. It will be published in June, so a long time to look forward to this. Yeah, so it is a tank top or a top that I have designed for a retreat that I'm taking part of in June with Mayak. And so these, I think I was knitting these when I was in New York and I finally finished it. I will probably wear it when I release it to show you the details. All I can say is that this is work with Kupa. Kupa is a blend of yak and organic cotton, which makes a really lovely fabric. Yeah, so this will be released when I am there at the retreat, but of course when I release the pattern it will be available to everyone. It will be just presented to the retreat attendees first, and at the same time it will be available online. So as you can see, there are some hipster details for the shoulders and beautiful stripes and a v-neck, and it is a square shape. It's kind of a boxy shape, but it doesn't have all the positivity. So it's kind of, it's not fitted, but it's not very boxy or oversized. And because every time I work for Mayak, I have to make two patterns for them. It's not that I have to, but that's what we worked out. I decided to do a matching shawl for the attendees. Hold on, I decided to do a matching shawl for the attendees. So this is my work in progress for today. Unfortunately, I can't. I am in the middle of the row. I'm working some short rows, but it is a shawl. I'm using the same yarn and the same motifs, and I'm doing some of the short row wedges that I love very much. I'm using the hipster stitch, and this yarn, the Kupa, comes in very odd. This is one thing that I don't like about my yak yarn, and it's that it comes in such small skeins. So their fingering weight skeins are 25 grams, which on one hand I understand that it means that you don't need to buy, it means that you don't need to buy extra yarn. You can only buy the small skeins that you need. But on the other hand, I feel silly saying that this pattern will take, and it won't take that much, but it will take 5 skeins of yarn. I always write how many yards, so it's enough with 1 skein of each color if you're using regular skeins. But it just, I wonder if it confuses people when they see, okay, you need 5 skeins of yarn for this shawl. It's not such a huge shawl. I always wonder about that. I wonder why they make the small skeins. I know that yak is very expensive, so probably they want to keep the skeins kind of affordable, but you're still getting fewer yards, right? But I get it, but it's sometimes when I work with something that is not the ordinary size or weight, I get a little bit frustrated. Beautiful yarn, by the way. I love the fabric that all of my yak yarns create. The yak is extremely durable for the softness. I work with many of their bases, and you would think that the yak, being kind of like a luxury fiber, it would be more frail, but on the contrary, it holds up really, really well. So this is my first work in progress for today, and I have another one. Oh man, I will have to pause and go, oh no, it's here. So my other work in progress, I posted about this 2 days ago and then yesterday again, is a little waistcoat. I'm gonna take my dog's hair out of it. It's a little waistcoat. So far it doesn't look like much. I only have made the upper back piece, so you can see how it fits my armhole. This is the back, and I am working on the front now. I'm using the same needle instead of using a stitch holder, so now I'm working on the right front piece. Yeah, so a couple of days ago I posted on Instagram that I was thinking of making a waistcoat. I always look at the trends or things that are knitwear, especially things that are trending, and I think I was looking for an idea for a vest, so I went to one of those fashion websites, and I think I typed in vest to get ideas, and then most of the results were these tailored suit vests, which I love. I have to say I really love. And I remember being in New York and seeing a lot of these garments sold in stores that I visited, like COS had a bunch of them, and Other Stories also had a bunch of them, and a lot of local shops as well, and me stupidly thinking, oh, this is such a tiny piece, I'm sure that it's something like not so expensive, but it turns out that they are very expensive. And I get it. I get why. And there's a lot of tailoring that goes into these garments. I'm talking about woven garments, like suit type of garments. So I didn't buy one, even though I really wanted to. I am into the high-waisted bottoms look, and maybe wearing things that are slightly cropped for the tops. And I don't know if I would go. I'm sorry. I'm sure that you're all yawning by now. I apologize for that. Anyway, I didn't buy them, and I didn't buy any. I came home empty-handed. And then when all of these ideas popped up in this website, I thought maybe it is a sign that I should knit myself one. And why was I looking for a vest? I will show you some of the things that I brought from New York. I have to say I'm very proud that I didn't bring more. I was at Vogue Knitting Live at the end of January, so about a month ago, and of course exposed to a lot of brands and a lot of shopping opportunities. But I've been talking about my stash and valuing my stash and using a lot of what I have, and I have been buying a lot of yarn recently. So, and there was nothing that caught my attention or that I could say, oh, I don't have anything from that looks like this, or anything from this brand that I want enough. So I didn't buy any yarn like out of my pocket when I was at the show. However, La Bien-Aimée, you guys know that I'm very close to Amy. She's one of my dearest knitting friends, and she is also a very successful yarn company owner, and we work together many times. And Amy has been working on super black yarn. I know that this yarn is difficult, this color is difficult for hand dyers because it's very hard to get through black. I know of a lot of dyers who dye maybe charcoal, or yeah. I think that the closest thing to black that I have in stash, is, well, it doesn't look so different in camera, does it? But it does in person, for sure. I don't know if you can see, this is black and this is almost black. And so when you wear an almost black garment, knitted garment, with all black garments, this looks gray. This definitely looks very gray. And what was I saying? I normally wear black. So I've knitted a lot of gray, almost black garments, and yeah, my eyes do suffer with the black yarn, but I really appreciate a true black yarn. I don't think that I've had true black yarn before, except the one that I used, the one from Moondrake that I used for my recent striped cardigan. Anyway, so if you use this type of yarn in a striped design, or if you normally wear light color layers, this will look like black. But if you wear black all the time, then probably you need something true black. Anyway, Amy developed this color. I am not 100% sure that this is hand dyed. I think that they might have industrially dyed this, but don't quote me on that. And I think that they made a few of their bases. Anyway, she knows that I like black, and she gifted me these two bases. Kuma, which is 74% baby suri, and singles, which is merino. And anytime that Amy gives gifts me yarn. She knows that I might or might not design with it, unless we talk about a collaboration, like, oh, let's release a pattern together for this festival. I think that she gave me this just for my own enjoyment because she knows that I like black so much. But at the same time, I wanted to honor that gift and came home thinking, oh, what can I design with this? And I have to say, it's very hard. I pride myself of being quite certain of what I want to do with a certain yarn. Like I say, oh, yarn does talk to me and they tell me what they want to become. I have to say, I had a hard time coming up with what I really wanted, and I still don't know if what I'm planning will work out, because I want to make a pattern that people can like and buy probably. And yeah, all the details will not show in black. It's very hard to photograph, and you can show the details with with skills in your photographs, but that also means that the black won't look black. So yeah, you can make it bright enough that you will see that there are cables there or that it's lace there, but what's the point if I'm not showing that the yarn is actually black, right? Or yeah, no, maybe I can, but I wasn't really finding a good alternative. I wanted to do a basic tank top, a basic, like maybe a turtleneck vest type of thingy. But yeah, it's a very basic pattern, and I don't have anything against a very basic pattern, but I wanted to maybe do something else. Anyway, I decided to make this waistcoat, and I am using both yarns held together, the Kumo and the fingering, and I hope that you can see the fabric that they are making. And I also went through the process of thinking about the fabric. Do I want the Kumo only? Do I want the fingering only? And I decided to go for both together because at first I considered doing a garment that had less elasticity, so a more rigid fabric, maybe using linen stitch. Linen stitch was one of my first considerations, to make it look like a tailored, like a suit vest that I've actually knitted with my hands. I have made garments in linen stitch. If you've never worked it before, it's basically a lot of slipping stitches, and it creates a texture that is very similar to a woven fabric, and it looks like a woven fabric. It's really fun to make, and it's a very non-stretchy result. My concern was I have to be extremely meticulous with the shaping, because if I'm knitting something that has no elasticity, that will not adapt to the body shape, then it has to be incredibly tailored, right? I can't do that for my body. I don't think that I can write a pattern for all of you in 10 different sizes with different bust proportions, bust shoulder proportions, that can actually fit nicely enough with a non-stretchy fabric. I think that I do depend on some elasticity from the knitted fabric in order to create garments that are nicer to wear and more comfortable. I do think that probably that kind of waistcoat that I want in the non-stretchy fabric, in the woven fabric, is something that women with a bigger difference between their frame and their bust probably have to have tailor-made, and this is something that they might not easily find at a ready-to-wear store. You know, like a standard size might not be the best fit for a woman with a narrower shoulders and fuller bust, or women with a plus size bust measurement. So in order to make the garment more adaptable, I think that I wanted the elasticity of the knitted fabric. Having said that, I also think that this garment would look better if you can't really see the knitted stitches. So you're kind of wondering, is that fabric? Is it knitted fabric? Is it sewn? So I decided to use both fibers together. So the Kumo doesn't have enough elasticity because it's mostly alpaca, so it doesn't have the same memory as the wool. And the wool doesn't have the fuzzy effect of the alpaca, so you will see all the stitches. Yeah, so I decided to experiment with them combined, and also if I'm not fully sure if this is going to work, I'd rather work with a bigger gauge so that I can knit faster, frog, and re-knit, right? If I am knitting with lace weight, first of all, I don't want a lace weight garment. I want something that has a little bit more body or substance to it. Yeah, so for all of these reasons, I decided to go with the fingering weight plus the Kumo held together. I am using US 4 3.5 millimeter needles to create a fabric that is kind of dense, and I'm doing stockinette stitch. So my bust adjustment will be probably after the armhole. I am going to do, I'm going to add instructions for bust darts, horizontal bust darts with short row shaping. So you can do German short rows or wraps and turns to create more length to the front of the garment than to the back. It's sort of like doing a dart, like a sewn dart. I always say in my classes, the difference between a sewn dart and a knitted dart is that with sewing, you have the full panel of fabric, and then you have to sort of take some length from the sides to make the front longer than the side. And with knitting, you are creating the fabric. So basically, you have to leave the side fabric the same, and you have to add more rows to the front of the garment for it to fit better. And that's what we do with short row bust darts. Yeah, and then I think that I'm going to use a little cinch on the back like this. I'll see if I can make it look neat enough that it looks elegant, or if I will leave it without. If I see that it's too fiddly or too bulky, or that it takes more from the garment than it adds, then I will leave it out. I will not be adding any details at all because they won't be seen. So I think that I'm going to finish the garment if it works out, if it fits. Oh, please pray for me that this fits, because I've talked about this so much that now I have to make a garment that fits. Then I'm probably going to finish this off with an I-cord, finishing. Yeah, and then do nice, delicate buttonholes, and that's it. And I'll have my waistcoat ready to go. We'll see. Yeah. So those are my two works in progress at the moment, the shawl and the waistcoat. The shawl is about to be finished. I think I'm going to probably finish it tonight. And I am eager to start something a bit more colorful, a bit more creative. So hopefully as soon as I finish the shawl and I can put some of those thoughts into the pattern and send it out to testing, I can work on maybe like a color work pullover or something with cables that is more colorful than these grays and black. I haven't made any fingering weight sweaters, like long sleeve sweaters, in a while. So that's probably something that I want to, yeah, fix in the future. So maybe a fingering weight sweater is in order. And also I wanted to mention that very, very late to the party, because I know most of you watch this series, but Charlie and I finally started watching Only Murders in the Building. It's been a long time since I've had, it's been a long time since I've had any fun watching a show that is so innocent, like innocent comedy, like true comedy, I'm having a great time. I love the characters. I love Selena, Mabel in character, and yeah, everyone talks about Mabel, the one of the main characters, wardrobe and outfits, and I am very inspired as everyone in the knitting community is, with all the sweaters that she wears, and not just the sweaters, basically everything she wears. I find it very appealing to me. And you might have noticed that she wears a lot of yellow, and I love yellow. If I have to choose one color that is not gray, black, or white, it's probably yellow or mustard or gold. So I've been thinking not to, making any of her sweaters like any particular style, but probably starting a yellow or golden color sweater inspired by Mabel, and the fact that I am finally watching this series at the moment. Probably, yeah, something gold or yellow would be nice and would keep me connected to this series. Let me know if you have any favorite outfits that Mabel has worn, or any favorite sweater, and I will check it out. I am currently about halfway through season 2, so please don't spoil anything for me that needs to be spoiled, although I won't get mad if you do, don't worry. Before I go, I want to share with you some other things that I brought from New York. I have to say I had a great time in New York City, as always, for Vogue Knitting Live. I think I told you. So when I recorded, I still hadn't worked. It was the day before my classes and the event kickoff. So probably I should tell you more, but I don't really know what to say. I wrote about it on Instagram, a post. It's the first time since the pandemic that I felt that there were so many people that I wanted to hang out with, that I felt everyone was eager to reconnect, eager to network. It was a great event for networking if you are a yarn company or a knitting or a pattern designer. It was a great opportunity to talk to yarn companies, ask for yarn support, talk to other designers, and collaborate or share concerns about things that are happening to you, or exciting things that you're thinking for the future. I felt it was a really hopeful and collaborative environment, and I felt really accepted and really comfortable around it. And yeah, and I think it's the first time in 4 years that happened. There were many companies, and I received a big bag with a lot of goodies, like a swag bag from a lot of different companies, and I didn't want to bring home any yarn that I wasn't thinking of using. So normally I will sit down with friends there, and I said, do you like this? Do you want to take it? Because I have to actually carry it across the ocean, and bringing it home and then not using it seems like a complete waste. So usually friends who are staying with me or hanging out with me take any yarn that I know that I won't be using in the future. But this time I had my niece with me, and Isabella, she's 17, and she had no interest in knitting until she came to Vogue Knitting Live, and she saw our community, and she really couldn't believe all the knitters hanging out and everyone, there were thousands of knitters, and she couldn't believe it. Anyway, she asked me if she could come to the marketplace, and I said, of course. I didn't think that you would want to. She was hanging out with her boyfriend, and I ended up buying her a kit to make an amigurumi cat. And she looked really, really excited about the kit and the fact that she was going to learn how to crochet. So I asked her, do you want all this yarn that I think that I might not work with? And she said, yeah, of course I do. So she took all the yarn home, you know, any gadgets, any tools, and it was such a joy to see someone so excited about little things. And I mentioned this in the past. When I go to, and it's not that I am not grateful for everything that I receive, but when I go to knitting festivals, I often get a lot of things as gifts that I don't have the mental clarity to acknowledge and appreciate all at the same time. And of course, if someone, like a person, comes forward and brings me something, I will keep it and bring it home and look at it and cherish it. But when we get these swag bags that, you know, someone just tossed things inside, I don't have the mental capacity to absorb everything that's there. So watching my niece actually taking, you know, hand-picking everything and asking me, what is this for? What is this sticker? What does it mean? And what are these markers? And what can I use this for? It was really valuable. And I think that is the best thing that I could have done with such a big swag bag. I gave it to someone who, first of all, she can't afford yarn at all, and she got really, really wonderful things in those bags. And I know how I would have felt if I was her 15 years ago. I would have peed my pants. Yeah, and at the same time, she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have a stash, so it's not more yarn. This is now her whole stash, and she was super in love with it. There are a couple of things that I brought home that I like, that I might use in the future. So one is a skein of Manos del Uruguay Cabrito, and this is their kid mohair polyamide or nylon, and I've used this in the past, and I like the olive color. Oh my goodness. And yeah, the color is called Terrarium. Then the guys from Madeline Tosh, yeah, they are PR people, were there. I have a very good relationship with them, especially with Libby, who every time that I need yarn support or that I need a sponsor for my knit along or a prize for anything, Libby is always there. So shout out to Madeline Tosh PR team, because Libby takes good care of me. And yeah, they were just, you know, meeting and greeting, and they brought us a little box with samples. Most of them I gave to Isabella, including the beautiful box, which is something like a yarn bowl. But I brought home a skein of Tosh Merino Light, because you guys know this is probably the yarn that I use the most. And I don't have this color, and this is Celadon. I have it in a different base. It's really nice. They had like a color theme going on in their yarn bouquet, and I don't know if you guys know that. By the way, I am not sponsored by Madeline Tosh other than receiving these gifts. So they didn't pay me to give you this news. But for those of you who love the Shibui Silk Cloud, and you know that I love Shibui Silk Cloud, and then Shibui shut down, they closed, and yeah, I have a big stash of Silk Cloud that I don't know whether to use or not, because I don't know if people can get it. Anyway, Madeline Tosh Group has acquired Shibui, so they gave me a sample of the Tosh Silk Cloud, which I believe is the same as the yarn formerly known as Shibui Silk Cloud. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's undyed. I don't know if I can, let's see. See, I have some Shibui here. So at first sight, the skeins look similar. So that's a good sign if you claim that you're like offering the same yarn. Probably the look of the skein should be similar. They look very similar. They look very similar. So for those of us in love with the Shibui Steel Cloud, Madeline Tosh now offers the Tosh Steel Cloud. I have no idea what kind of colors they will offer. Steel Cloud used to offer solid colors or only with the marling effect that dyeing something with different yarn fiber content provides. But we'll see. I just wanted to share those news because this is two companies and two types of yarn that I like. I think that's it. I invite you tomorrow to go check out our shop update for Joji & Co. We will have all kinds of bags, from small box bags starting at, I think that they are 98, to big totes and like the Delta Bucket Bag, which is one of our biggest designs. So check it out. This tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, Thursday 22. And yeah, and then I will see you next time. I hope you enjoy this, even if it's shorter than usual.